Welcome to another executive tutorial for Peopleistic. What I'd like to express to you is that this next body of information is so vitally important to leadership development, especially self-leadership. We're going to be going to a graph in just a moment that explains how we actually create our emotional states that drive our behavior, and where are the places that we can actually bring attention to, alertness to, and create deep change. Not superficial change, but deep change. So here we go. As you're looking at this graph, notice that from the left side it says events into neurological sensors. Our events are the events that bombard our nervous system, coming through our five senses: our visual, our sight, our auditory, our hearing, kinesthetic, sense of touch, olfactory, smell, and gustatory, taste. We're bombarded by approximately 2 million chunks of data per second. We have a little bit of a safeguard here, which is called filters. Those filters delete, distort, generalize, store, and suppress that 2 million chunks of data down into 7 pieces plus or minus 2. Our filters consist of our language, our memories, our values, our beliefs, our attitudes, time, metaprograms, race, culture, ancestral influence, all of which constitute the very unique individual qualities that each one of us have. When I'm doing a lecture at a conference or in a training, I'll always ask people, do you have brothers and sisters? And generally 3/4 of the room will raise their hand. And then I ask, how many of your brothers and sisters actually see the world exactly like you do? And everybody laughs because, of course, our brothers and sisters never see the world like we do. These are our individual filters. An event comes into our five senses, we give it meaning, and from that meaning our beliefs are formed, our values are formed, our attitudes begin to form, and therefore our memories. Now, as the data comes in through the five senses and it gets filtered through our individual unique experiences, we create what's called an internal representation. As you're watching this slide, I'm going to just invite you to have a little experience for just a moment. Think of your most favorite pet that you've had and one of the best memories of that favorite pet, the one that you loved the most. Just take a moment and think of your favorite pet and one of the best memories of that favorite pet. Great. Now notice that you undoubtedly saw a picture of that pet. Perhaps there were sounds associated to it, and then you had feelings. These are internal representations that represent our particular events that have occurred to us from our past, our memories. When you are looking at that internal representation, most people will get an emotional state almost immediately. That emotional state actually is created through a complex chemical reaction in the body. From the hypothalamus gland and other glands in the body flows neuropeptides from the stimulus coming through our five senses. Those neuropeptides cascade through the body and connect to neuropeptide receptors on the surface of the cell. When the appropriate neuropeptide is engaged into the appropriate neuropeptide receptor, you'll have a chemical response in the cell and an emotional state is created. This happens in a nanosecond. This is why emotional states and physiology almost happen simultaneously, all of which drives behavior. So as the information comes in, gets filtered through our internal representations and our filters, we create an emotional state, affects our physiology, that drives behavior, because all behavior is emotionally driven. Now this is what's vitally important about this graph. If you look at the filters, the place where leaders can make a dynamic, long-lasting, sustainable change in their response is the language they use, the memories they carry, the values they are aligned to or misaligned to, whether they carry deep, profound, empowering beliefs or limiting beliefs, the type of ancestral family of origin issues that are still alive and well and truly there from our emotional body as we think about and respond to our current situations. We have to begin to look at that if we have negative emotions that are based on memories, we will be more reactive, less proactive. The whole aspect of leadering ourselves up is that we add more choices to our responses so we have more congruency in our leadership, so that we build the trust with the people with whom we lead and create loyalty and talent retention. It does not happen to you. It actually happens from you. This is why this model becomes vitally important, so that we can dive deeper into our own selves and bring up our congruency by improving the quality of our emotional states, therefore being able to practice more succinctly mental emotional management skills.